going to turn off the dishwasher. Let's pause. Your watches have to be digging into my arm as well. For me.
Yeah. We're live.
Oh, hello.
Let me just see. Just adjust it on this. See how red we are on that?
Yeah,
And then we're kind of much...
My temperature is up slightly anyway. My blood pressure.
Good evening to concurrent viewers. Good evening. Who is online tonight?
Good evening.
3 concurrent viewers. Who is online tonight?
Back to 2.
2.
What did you say?
2. Someone said,
Well,
do you know what?
now?
Someone went in and said, you know what? These 2.
Or your man.
So,
I know how you feel.
they went, are they away somewhere? No, I'm not watching it then. So, hello? Are you shy? Hello? Ah! Mr. Ford.
Had a great week, thank you. Hope you have too.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Ford.
What's on the board?
Mr. Ford.
Mr. Ford.
So, do you have any...
What did it used to say that?
It was
What's a hotspot?
No.
Not hotspot.
It was was it Larry
Nice
Grace?
to see you.
No,
To
that's
see
Bruce
you.
Forsyth.
Alright.
Bruce Forsyth, the Generation Game.
Bruce Forsyth.
Bruce Forsyth. What are you saying?
You said Bruce Forsyth.
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 Bruce Forsyth.
Cool whip.
Hello. Hi. So, do you have any topics that you want to cover off tonight? One like. Good man or woman. Not sure who. 4 concurrent viewers. We're
Good
building
person.
up.
Yes.
5.
Recipes. Recipes
I'd say-
I would like to discuss.
I'd say the weather. We'll probably
Oh.
we'll probably get a good few views tonight because
Do
I'd
you
say the
think so?
weather.
Yeah.
I'd say people are probably stuck in.
It's a bag of hammers now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But I think with the weather being the way it is, people are probably... Because what I've noticed is there's a lot
Bored,
of...
so they said they'll tune in.
There's a lot... Who?
People are probably bored, so they said they'd tune in.
Well, thank you for the second like. Thank you. So...
Right, don't keep your eye on that now, because that's going to get very annoying very quickly.
Well, I'm just acknowledging...
You're already in the bad
I'm
books.
only acknowleding people. Look, you're itching to talk about it, aren't you?
I'm not, no.
You are. You're itching.
They all agree with you all the time anyway, so...
They don't. Vanessa and myself had a bit of a row. You're probably picking up on a little bit of...
We didn't have a row.
We had.
I don't argue.
We had what classes as a row for us. No, that's true. You don't argue. Okay, 3 likes. You're just showing off now. So it's just that raining. It hasn't stopped raining here.
Mr. Ford, where are you again?
I'll give you a laugh, Mr. Ford. We got the announcement of the hosepipe ban on the Tuesday. Was it Tuesday this week?
We got it on Monday for Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped raining since.
It started raining. They eased on the lockdown and it's raining. So there you go.
Yeah.
Talk about
the Irish summer came just once the lockdown got eased.
But isn't it ironic? Because I remember years ago, I was saying to you, I was driving along one time and it was quite good weather. And I remember seeing this huge 40-foot sign, a big roadside billboard. And it was saying, hosepipe ban. And it was lashing rain at the time. And I remember laughing. But the thing that...
Kent.
Very nice.
Lovely.
Very nice part of the world. We were in Cornwall one time.
Kent near Cornwall.
Kent, I think, yes, I think they are. I think they're close enough. Yes, I'm not
Kent
exactly.
near Essex?
No, I don't know now. I'm not sure. I need to get out my.
I thought it was.
Kent. Well, I could be wrong now because my geography of that part, my geography. I know where London is. I know where Liverpool is, and all that kind of stuff. But actually, for the counties, I wouldn't be very good. Bedfordshire and.
I know where Dublin is.
Well, it was weird because I remember asking somebody one time to explain to me London, where London is, in what county is London, and then this person was saying, well, it's kind of the city, and then it's a metropolitan area and everything like that because it's such a big place. And I was going, yeah, but what county is London in? County what?
County London?
Because Dublin is in County Dublin, Cork's in County Cork, but you're kind of going, where? No, there's no. It's not
But
London.
England don't have counties like that, do they? Like
Oh,
we
they
do.
do, yeah. Where do you think we got it from?
But it's Cornwall.
Cornwall's a county.
Is it?
Yeah,
Why did you call it County
they're
Cornwall?
Bedfordshire.
County Birmingham.
No, Birmingham's a city in the county of. You know, like you heard about Shropshire. You'll know them because sausages are all named after them, right? So.
It's 330 miles from Cornwall.
Okay.
50 miles from the Channel Tunnel.
All right, so it is. So
I think I was better there.
Kent is over.
So
over the London side, then I suppose, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
It is.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
There's something making me believe that it is. I think my mum's friends one of their kids could be living in Kent. I think, and it's close enough to London. I could be very wrong. I don't know.
Oh, look at this now. Look at this. Let's have a look. Open up. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh, there's Kent there. So why are they so? Isn't that my eyes now? That's blurry, isn't it?
No, I can read that perfect.
No, you can't.
Can you?
That's blurry. Wait, now till I get one that's not blurry. There you go. There. If we don't look at that one. Okay, that's rude.
What's it there? How was it?
Did you see what it was saying?
No.
Suffolk is the best place to live. Essex is crap. Kent is a city.
Norfolk is holidays. Suffolk
Surrey
is
ghetto. West Sussex.
That's not nice, is it?
No, it's obviously
Someone think they're
Anyway,
funny.
so there you go. That's better, right? So that's better, isn't it? So you can see there's Kent. So what was I thinking of? Cornwall. I don't know what I was thinking of. Devon. See, Somerset, Dorset. See.
Ah.
Oh, is there a London county? No, there's not. Is there? That can't be right.
Look,
Wow.
even Nigel and Leslie here sitting in their T6 having a drink and a bite to eat in their drive.
Very good.
Well done. From the Wirral. Where's
Again.
the Wirral, Jay?
Near Liverpool. Sort of. That's lovely. I'm glad you're getting good use of it. Aaron,
Hi,
good
Aaron.
evening, Aaron. How's it going? I watched your video today on Aaron's questions. I actually watched the one last week. It was quite interesting as well, Aaron, on the software you use. I hadn't heard of that piece of software.
You got a new computer.
But
as
it was much the same. It's very good. It was good stuff. And Aaron made the point that he was saying that he put up a video and it's 10 minutes long and it took him a couple of hours to edit, which is what people do. Like for me, the videos I put up, how long do I spend doing them?
Ages.
What's
So,
ages though?
Nigel and Leslie, what are you eating?
Beans on toast.
What's the food of choice when you're in your T6? Ours is generally burgers or steak sandals or something, isn't it?
Well, you see, it's very wintry food. We usually it's cold weather. You want something hot and tasty. And you like frying up that stuff. What was I saying? Yeah. So yeah, and Aaron, what was Aaron talking about today?
I don't know.
People, I told you, people asking him stuff.
You tell me loads of things.
Yeah, it was just interesting. So it's a good video, good idea, Aaron. Questions, and you've been asked a lot of good questions as well, which I thought was quite interesting, because you know yourself. Although the one about I was telling you the one about Charlie, they were saying, what will you call the channel? Which I was like they went to the dark place on that one a little bit, but it's
Some people do.
Yeah, it's so that's so I have a couple of topics this week to talk about. You already looking at the time? So the couple of topics that I was going to talk about are van related, which is going to be, I think last week it just totally went off on a tangent, and so I think this week two things. One, I think we need to stay positive.
You need to stay sober.
No going to the dark place.
That's you. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't go to the dark place all the time.
You do.
Oh, you're very fond of going there yourself. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, so staying positive and try and keep it van related. So I have a couple of things. They remind me of two topics. Two topics. Chicken and chips. Very nice.
Rosé. The healthy option. Very good.
Very nice. All homemade, I'm assuming. So, got 3 videos out of it. Yeah, it's a good idea. It was a good idea. Some interesting questions as well. And it was good. Like, we've proposed doing videos like that before, and we say to people, ask questions, but people don't.
For fear of you answering them and how long it'll take.
Well, that's an interesting point.
They kind of go, well, I don't have a half an hour to listen to Jason's response.
I thought we were going to keep it positive.
We're.
well, slagging me is being negative now, in fairness, right?
I think I was just speaking for the people.
Anyway,
We're keeping it positive.
Anyway, so keep it positive and try and keep it van related. I mean, it is a van channel after all, right? So a couple of things related. Someone asked me a question today. So I put up a review of, we have the Halfords 24-litre electric cool box. So we bought one of those. So what you know, so you plug it in. It's plugged off, powered off a cigarette lighter, and it's got the fan on the top, and it's like an extra fridge. And actually. It's seen a lot of action because our old fridge kept dying and we kept having to use it. But it's very good. But somebody came on to me today actually and asked me a question. They asked me a question. Carlos Smith. There's a name for you, huh? Carlos Smith. He came on and asked me a question. How long, if you use it, would it take to kill your leisure battery? Now, I have pondered that before. And about how long. So what it is you plug it in. It's battery powered, right? So you plug it into your USB, not USB. You plug it into your cigarette lighter, and it draws power off that. But there is an adapter, and we have an adapter that if you plug it into that, you can plug it into the socket in the wall. So it's very handy for that. And we would use it for, say, trips. We used it in the van for keeping stuff cool in the fridge and everything like that. And what I have one of those little portable battery packs. So basically, it's probably half the weight of a kind of car battery or something like that. And we bring it with it, and you can plug it in, and it powers that thing up. And it's just handy to have a little portable fridge. So if you left your car and you walk down onto the beach, and it would keep stuff cool. It's a lot of weight to carry, and it's classic me in that it's over the top and it's just way too much. But actually, I did a review on it, and so this guy Carlos asked me how long would it take before it killed your battery. Now, obviously, how long is a piece of string is the kind of question, but it got me thinking, right? I was like, actually, how long would it take? And what I would say is that it's very hard on your battery. Okay, so I would say it would draw a lot of power, and I was able to work it out today. So volts multiplied by amps gives you your wattage, right? So that's your watts. So the watts used per hour. So if you take the volts, which is 12, multiplied by the amps, which is 3.5, and it's generally speaking 40 watts per hour. And then you can say, so a battery will deliver. So the long and the short of it was, a typical leisure battery would power it for 30 hours, which I thought that seems really, really good, because good evening, Laura. So I thought it drew a lot of power because it kills that other thing really quickly, right? What did we get out of that little battery pack in there? A couple of hours maybe?
Oh yeah, not a whole lot.
And I was surprised at how much power it drew. Now the thing about it is, it's a big fan on the top turning, right? So it's not like as efficient as a fridge in that, it's constantly on, so it draws a lot of power all the time. So if you had it in your van pulling off your leisure battery, it would run down a lot. It would run down the power really quickly. So I calculated it as 30 hours, and I thought that seems a lot. But it is right, because if you think about a leisure battery, so the maths is simple enough, right? If I'm correct, right? So it's your watts, your voltage multiplied by your amps gives you your watts, and then basically you have to figure out how many watts are stored in or you can do your amp hours. So 3.5 amps means, I think, right? It means 3.5 amps per hour. Your battery's 110 amp hour, therefore you do the maths, it's about 30 hours. So I was like, okay. So then that got me to think, stick with me, because this is kind of van related stuff, obviously, right? But that got me thinking then, that seemed like a lot, and I thought, that's not bad actually, But then when I read, and I was reading things about it, and they're saying you shouldn't let your leisure battery go below, some people said 50%, and other people saying 70%. So, yeah.
Because what's the point in having? Then you can't go off grid for any more than a few hours.
Well, because they're saying it's not good for the battery. So you can't. I see. This is the thing. That's why it's an interesting topic, I think, for the channel, because I thought, like, you shouldn't. Now you shouldn't run your engine. I think the thing is, you're supposed to recharge them quickly. So the little portable battery pack says, whenever you use it, recharge it immediately. Because what happens is that there's a chemical reaction inside, and the longer you leave it, the reaction is reversible. But if you leave it discharged for too long, the crystals, it doesn't recharge. So I just thought it was interesting that with the leisure battery, so it kind of got me thinking about that. But so that's what it's saying. Yeah, you shouldn't really go. That's why when we see them, we generally don't go too low, because we're usually either plugged in or driving around.
Yeah.
But you see, in my mind, and I was thinking with the van, it says that the batteries will power the fridge in the van for up to 4 days. So then I'm thinking, there's a hammer in the batteries, but because they're leisure batteries, they're supposed to take they're supposed to take a big discharge, a big draw off them, and you're supposed to be able to run them right down and then charge them back up. They're designed to do that. Where your car battery for starting your engine, if you did that, if you flatten your car battery, it's not good for it at all. So
it's a little bit like your phone battery. You have to let it die at some point.
Any battery,
anyway.
Any battery technology, I suppose, is it's a chemical reaction. So it's inherent, and what it does is basically what happens is that it gives up electricity, and the chemical reaction goes one way. Then when you charge it, you push the chemical reaction back the other way, and then obviously that back and forth over time, the chemicals wear out. Am I boring? But I just thought it was interesting. So if anyone has any comments on leisure batteries, it'd be very interesting to see, because it is quite an interesting topic as to kind of how long. Now, when I did the things today, I was brought back to my physics days of kind of going, how do you calculate all this? It's actually very straightforward. But then the whole thing is that with your batteries running down, how long would the batteries last? So it's just interesting. So what I do is from time to time, once every 2 weeks, start the engine, run the engine, and then what I do is plug it in from time to time. But I am kind of conscious of the batteries running down fairly quickly.
Aaron is saying there that they had an expert on the Camping Crew podcast, and he said don't let it go any lower than 30%, which seems about right. 70 seems a bit nuts.
No, we don't have the solar.
No.
We don't, and you can't charge. See, it's a VW California, so you can't charge it off the power. You can't charge it off solar panels.
Can you not?
No.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd have to get it done. You'd have to get someone in to do the work and everything like that as well. It would be handy, because now that we don't have the roof box, you could put a couple of solar panels on the roof, and it would be good if they just in the background just trickled power into the system and just kept the batteries topped up, and it would be handy that we wear away. But I'd be just interested to know what people's views are on how they maintain their batteries and how long. What they're saying is, those kind of batteries, you only get maybe 5 to 7 years out of them, and you have to replace them all.
Really?
Yeah, and they're probably dependent on the use, but I would say ours aren't used a lot. So that's why we have to be super careful with the batteries, because they'll run down.
Yeah.
They'll run down they're sitting, and what they do is they slowly discharge themselves. Like a battery sitting there, connected to nothing, will slowly but surely discharge.
Oh, I know, I've often taken my watches off, and then you go and put it on, and it's completely dead, and you go, how? Well, obviously, it does die.
They do die, yeah.
Even your laptop, you can.
Yeah. So I just think it's just interesting, because I think sitting there kind of wondering that, but that's good actually that it's 30%, because I thought to draw it down. Yeah, but the real thing is the voltage. You see, you look at your battery, right, and it's 14.5% volts, right? So you think when a battery's discharged, it's 0, but it's not. It goes to, when a battery goes to 11 volts from 14.5, your battery's effectively knackered. It's weird, isn't it? Isn't it? So anyway, I just thought it's just someone was commenting on it today, and I just think for, say, people who have vans, it's not something I've thought about, but I am conscious of it, that we have to mind the batteries. But I'm just conscious of what people might think themselves with regards to batteries. And the other topic was that's the end of that. The other topic was
fan related.
I can't remember what the other thing was now.
Did you not write down?
No. Maybe they're just the same thing, really. Maybe that's what it was. Oh yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what it was. So that's the thing. So obviously we've lost a few viewers because of that.
They've all passed out.
Sorry guys, I just think it's one of the it's sort of, to me, it's one of the liability. It's like the AdBlue system with the van. It's one of these things that you have to be kind of conscious of with your van, because we top up the AdBlue, and if you let the AdBlue run down too low, the van won't go. But then that AdBlue has a shelf life, and it's sitting in the van. So you're thinking, is it going to go off in the van? Yeah. It goes off. It can crystallize inside the van or something like that. I don't know. So like these are the things with the vans. These are the small things that will catch it out. Like we're all conscious of not running out of diesel. You know, you're conscious of air in your tires and making sure your radiator's done. But something like your batteries going flat or overusing your batteries, or what's the other thing I'm saying there?
That's why the solar panels would be good, wouldn't it?
There would be, yeah, but it's probably on the to-do list, but I don't know what that means anyway. So yeah. So what are the guys saying? Evolve ends off for 20 years. We replaced one battery. Evolve, yeah. So they replaced one battery, yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like it's probably a bit like the tires in that they probably test them. I don't know. I'd imagine VW would probably at some stage will recommend that you replace the batteries, or we might start to notice it ourselves. That all of a sudden we'll notice the fridge will cut out. You kind of go, we need new batteries. Yeah. But I think what we should keep an eye on the thing in it, because you do notice that even though it's probably not heavily used,
hi Dave,
they're obviously sitting there for quite a while. But the other thing as well is, I'd say, because they're sitting, but also because they're aging. You know, that's the thing.
There we are.
A friend of mine has just put solar panels on his Cali. Very good. Has he done a video or anything like that? It'd be interesting to know. Yeah. Ask Google. That's true. There is a good website, Folk Universal Practical Calculations. Very good. Yeah, but I think the maths was right. I think what I was saying today was right. I think voltage multiplied by amps gives you your watts, and then you can do it the other way around. And I think then it's a simple enough thing. And then obviously, but it's kind of the terminology, because someone says 100, someone says 3.5 amps. You go, what's 3.5 amps? And you go 3.5 amps in an hour. And if you know, anyway, that's there's something else I was going to talk about, but I won't bore you anymore than that.
Is it photography related?
No.
You can talk about it then.
I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was. What was I going to talk about?
I don't know.
You don't know?
You didn't share it with me.
I should have made a note.
You should have.
Do you know what it'll come back to me when we're finished. I should have talked about it, and I'll keep it up for next week. But that's the thing. Gadget John has Gadget John. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Not Gadget John. That's what it reminded me of. Thank you very much, Laura. Gadget John, yeah, he's very good. That Gadget John guy, he's very good. He does videos. He's very interesting. It's like a caravan. It's on the. If I'm right in thinking this, it's the caravan. It's like the caravan channel or something. It's called, I think. Very good, and he's very handy. If you were as skilled as he is, you know, he's one of those guys that can just do all that kind of stuff. The other thing I was going to talk about, which was very interesting, I thought to myself, was I am going to post you a Charlie and me so you can make it know. Thank you very much, Aaron. So yeah, and I'll stick them to me forward, and you can tell me what they were. I tell you what was interesting. The Amber Project. Right, so you know Amber Project. You know the guy with the converted ambulance.
Yes.
I like him, right? I like his. I've spoke about him before. I really like him, and I think, and he's a lovely cocker spaniel as well, isn't it? Is it a cocker spaniel? Why are you looking at me like that? It's a cocker spaniel. The algorithm's going to pick up and that go, video's not suitable. So, thanks, Aaron. Good man. So, what do you think I was going to say?
I didn't know what
he's a lovely cocker spaniel. So, but remember we were watching it. I really like his videos. He's really down to earth, and I think he's a really, really nice guy. And do you know what he would be? He'd be the kind of guy I'd say you'd go camping with, and you could sit down and have a good time with him. But he's so skilled and technical and all that kind of stuff. And he's a really nice attitude. I really like him. I think he's a good.
For a bit of crack.
Yeah, I think he's very good. But it was interesting because he has gone off the air, for a while.
Since they left the campsite.
Yeah.
He's probably a bit fed up with the whole situation.
Well, so that's the point. That's the point. What John Virgo? He made lots of videos. Is that a joke? Is that just one of those jokes I don't get? Who's John Virgo? John Virgo, is he the snooker player, is he? He made lots of videos.
Google him.
No, I think he is a snooker player. I look it up. I have a feeling it's a joke that I'm not getting, and I'm sorry.
I definitely won't get it.
So, but what happened was he said that what he was doing was that so he was on so during the lockdown they went to Scotland. And then they left Scotland. They were more or less chased out of Scotland, right? So they were chased out of Scotland, And then they went to this farm somewhere, and then they were happy as Larry. And what they did was they spent the first 2 weeks, even though they were parked near each other and they were in the outdoors, they spent the first 2 weeks in isolation from each other. Then after the 2 weeks, nobody had COVID. And then what they did was they spent then the next few weeks having a bit of fun. And they looked like they were having the best life ever, didn't they? It looked brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But then in one of his videos, he was alluding to the fact that he was getting a little bit fed up of doing the videos. And he was kind of, but then he kind of came around. No, it's not a joke. He did a self-build. Okay. okay. I looked that up. So, but it is a snooker guy, right? So, did you see him in Canada on the game show? I'm out of loop now. What was I saying? Anyway, so he alluded to the fact, but then what happened was then he got told that or people basically ratted on him, right? That's what they did, and then they had to leave. They had to leave the farm, and then he basically said at the end he was going to go off air, that he'd had enough. Now he has a relatively big channel and a very dedicated fan base, and a lot of people follow him, and it's just interesting because he was going through this kind of getting fed up with doing the videos thing. Now I think what'll happen is I think he'll go, and then what he'll do is he'll come back.
Yeah.
And I think what you do is
probably just needs to regroup a little bit.
Yeah, because I think there is a level, and I think this is one of the things as well. I say we're having a YouTube channel, right? And it'd be interesting to see Aaron's opinions on this, right? Have you had this yet? I don't think so. I don't think you have at all, Aaron, because right, you don't seem to be showing any signs of it. But I think there is this point where you feel slightly overexposed. And when I saw him doing it, I felt, you'd reach out to him and you'd say, look, buddy, you're going through a phase, and he probably knows this, that he's overexposed. They get a lot of comments. He gets a lot of comments, and he gets a lot of this. But I think what's happened is that the negativity of what's going on, or the negative aspect of human nature, I think is kind of around.
There's a lot of negativity out there at the moment, so. Yeah,
and he went. So that's the thing, and he hasn't put up a video, and hopefully he does come back because I really like him. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. What's your take on that?
I'm sure he's just had enough. You get that. I know I get that myself, even with the likes of Instagram and stuff like that. I'd be putting stuff up, and then every now and then you just kind of go, oh, do you know what? I was going to pull back a little bit from it. But it's for yourself that you're doing it, you're doing it to begin with for yourself anyway, not for anyone else. That way, thinking, if it does help other people, that's wonderful. But sometimes you just kind of go, do you know what? I'm going to take a little step back now, and I'm just going to leave it for a while. Because you mightn't, sometimes when you feel that you have to keep putting it up, it loses the effect as to what it was for to begin with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, are you just talking about pictures and things like that?
No.
Videos?
Yeah.
All right, and do you get many comments coming back to you?
I would, yeah. I don't ever get negative comments. I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah. Well, we get very few comments. Generally speaking, right? I would say generally, when I look at other channels, people put up, I don't know what it is, right? Maybe you're right. Maybe people are afraid to engage me because they'll never get away. But I think it is interesting that we get very few, and like I'll get a few every day, but it's usually asking me something about a video or something like that. But that's what we get.
But that's what you want.
That's exactly so. I think the thing is what happens. But I remember when I was first doing this, negative comments used to really get to me, and you do feel that exposure. You do feel like you're putting yourself out there, that you're exposed to Greg Virgo. Okay, very good. Okay, so you do feel somewhat exposed, and that's what he's doing. And obviously he means well. And I think the thing that he's saying as well, and when I watch a lot of videos about this, about people who are famous, is that people come up to them. I was watching John Malkovich the other day, and he was talking about the movie he did about being John Malkovich, right? Which is very interesting. But he was being interviewed about the video that he did, the movie that he did. But he was saying about people come up to him and talk to him as if they know him. But he might be sitting there having his dinner, talking to somebody, but he has to so there is this kind of exposure. So I'd say your Man and Amber project, people feel like they know him. And then I think then on some level, when you put yourself out there so much, that there's a part of you that feels a bit nervous about it, that he is this, and then people are maybe, so if people are nice to him and helping them, but I think then if there's some kind of negative backlash or something like that, he's completely exposed.
Well, I told you about the time that the guy said to me, "Oh, I see you're a fitness instructor and you do." His wife had told him that I do all these classes down in the village and everything. Yeah, she'd never interacted with me or even spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, oh God, now that's people that I don't even, that are looking at my page, or they don't even interact with me, and why are they doing that? And you start to get a little bit paranoid as well.
Yeah.
You know that way. And then I just thought, you know what, I'll take it as a compliment. Weirded me out a little bit. And then I just thought, like, maybe it's not her time to interact right now, but she will at some point. But I just thought it was a bit strange, you know, the way, like, because you're out there and you are exposed on some level, and you're putting yourself out there for people to be nasty or be nice, however, whatever they feel that they are, you know. It's up to you what way you deal with that, though.
Well, like looking at Laura's comment there, right? God, I would never do YouTube, all right? But I love watching yous and I learn a lot. Thank you very much. But I think that, you see, this is the thing. There's people out there who would never do it. And they're like, I would never expose myself, right? To this level of thing, right? And I think you won't expose yourself, right? And I'd say that's the most natural reaction.
Yeah.
And I think then there's people who are probably a bit back from that end of the spectrum. And then there's people the other end of the spectrum, complete extroverts, and they just love all the attention and they'll do anything for attention, everything like that as well. And I think there is this thing where when we do it, so like when we were down in the park the other day, like I don't really talk about the channel to anyone, right? So this is the thing, I don't mention it to people, I don't go on about it, I don't publicize it to people at all, and I don't mention it in that, like when we were down the park the other day and I was doing a video and someone said, was it for TV? And I said, no, I do it for myself. And then they asked me for what, and I said it's a YouTube channel. And then they said, what? Remember that guy? Remember that? Was he an American chap we met at one time in Care? And he was saying, oh, all right, you give us it. And of course, the name of the channel is not like, it doesn't, like Charlie and Me. If you said, what's the name of the channel? Charlie and Me, boom. So the name of our channel.
in Venice as well last year.
The name of our channel, what do you mean?
He was asking as well what we were doing it for.
Oh, yeah. So then the name of our channel is such a rigmarole to kind of spit out like that. Actually, I was suggesting to change the name.
We'll have a think about it.
Yeah, I was thinking of changing the name to something like The Rainmaker. Just something simple, The Rainmaker. Because that's how I intro the videos, The Rainmaker.
Well, then go on, change it.
Do you think so? See, I'm not sure. I think if we did, it'd be the last time we did it, but I think something like that would be good though, wouldn't it? It's so easy to, someone says to what's the name of the channel, The Rainmaker. You know? What do people think? Because I think the name currently, California Dreaming at IBT, My California Dreams, I can never remember it. I can't even remember the name of the channel.
Well, you insisted on the IBT at the end.
Yeah. But you see, there's so many videos called My California Dream and California Dreaming and the California, there's so many of them.
Aaron said do it, let's do it.
That's classic. Do it, yeah. What did I say it was called? The Rainmaker? Or The Rainmaker. The Rainmaker, yeah. See, the only thing about it is people might sub thinking it's a weather channel. And then they go, what's this headbanger doing?
No.
I've had too much gin. Yeah, so I think that's the thing. I might do it. It means changing all the headers and all that kind of stuff. I'd remember that. What would you remember?
The Rainmaker.
I'd remember that, yeah, The Rainmaker, yeah.
I think most people would remember that.
You see, because the van used to be called Vanny. But we've slowly but surely started to just call it The Rainmaker. It is Vanny for short, isn't it? Like that's
call it the Vanitron.
Or Vanitron, right? So Vanitron, Vanny. But it is if I was going to get it named, it would be The Rainmaker. Yeah, that's the thing. I'd call it The Rainmaker. So see, we can see the delay. See the big dirty yawn out of you. I didn't even see you doing that.
You must have been talking again, were you?
Probably. But anyway, I just thought it is interesting. The psychology of what he's going through to me is very interesting because I do remember going through a phase. Now he's like I don't know. I'm going to say he's like 20 or 30,000 subs, right? So he's way, way, way bigger channel, right? And I think okay, so it seems to be positive. Okay, so I thought you thought we were Americans, really? So that's probably irony, is it? That's irony, isn't it? I thought you were Americans. No, okay. Maybe not. There was a movie called The Rainmaker, otherwise it's free. No. There was a movie called...
Aaron's doing the work there in the
Good
background.
man,
No one
Aaron.
has it on YouTube.
Good man, Aaron.
Okay, Aaron, we'll be on it like a car bonnet now.
Okay, well, it'll give me something to do then. The Rainmaker. Yeah. You'll have
means I
to
have to change the
rename
Instagram.
You'll have to rename everything else as well. Okay. So that's what we'll do. We'll come up with a and it's a pain in the neck because trying to do the bar across the top and get it
You
right.
are
Anyway,
never happy.
So
Seriously.
I'm just thinking that
Get over yourself.
YouTube did not make it easy to.
Well,
they don't
You're
make
the one
it.
that wants to change
They
it.
don't. He has
40,000 subs.
40,000, fair ball. So then again, you know what I mean? And I think the thing about it is, well, I was watching a thing one day and they're saying that the bigger your channel gets, right? So when it's a little small dinky channel like ours, right? It's quite private in the grand scheme of things. It's quite private. Really, the only people who watch this channel are people who like it and like us and like interacting with us and all that kind of stuff, right? But I think when you have a big channel like that, I think the momentum draws in all the crazies. You know what I mean? And also, as you grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, you get more negativity coming your way. And I think, when you see channels like that who grow, it's funny. What's the name of that channel? I can never remember the name of it. A Bus and Beyond, right? So A Bus and Beyond. When I look down through the comments of theirs, like the bulk of them are very nice. Everyone seems to love them, but you'll see comments in there of people having a pop at them and having a go at them. And I think proportionately you are. I mean, for us, say we get 10 comments and you get one that's negative, but when they're probably getting hundreds and thousands of comments, you're going to get more. And if you're sensitive to that, so I don't know. Like it's just.
But you remember the couple in New Zealand that had the bus converted.
Yeah.
They got a huge amount of
yeah,
backlash.
yeah.
I can remember watching them one time and they pulled into some.
What
campsite.
just who were they called again? It was the couple in New Zealand. You know the one they drove the big converted coach. Anyway, go on. Sorry, what were we saying? What were we saying?
And they. What was I saying?
The negativity.
Oh
to the
yeah,
channel.
they had pulled in somewhere and the guy came over and he said to them like, "You're welcome, but you aren't recording here." And
Really?
do you remember watching that? And then he had they were only recording offsite, and then he had come over and gave out to one of the kids then as well, and they were just like, "We're leaving."
And unfortunately, they've split up now.
They split up, yeah.
What I would say is, Vanessa always predicted that they would split up.
I did, yeah.
And I didn't think that, but it's amazing. But you did. You always said they're not going to last. I don't know how you knew it, right? But I think the thing was that, and it's a terrible thing, right? But Vanessa's very good at predicting things. You can't watch a movie with Vanessa because she'll tell you 15 minutes in what the twist is. But to see them doing that and then split up, like again, that exposure.
Yeah. Well, people have come onto her, and I follow her on Instagram, and people have come onto her, and she just basically said, "F off, it's none of your business."
Yeah.
Sinead.
She's very strong though. She was definitely very strong.
He was dealing with a lot of PTSD and stuff like that after the
earthquake.
Was the earthquake, or was it that bombing that time, or the shooting?
No, it was the earthquake.
Was it the earthquake?
The earthquake, yeah. So the earthquake in
New Zealand.
Yeah, so but she was very strong. You could definitely see that she was.
Her name was Amber, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. But
Amber,
she was very, very strong. The only thing I'd say was they were living their life and their kids, and theirs is a bit more like a show, whereas theirs was
just
a bit
as
more.
we thought we weren't going to have a mention of the T6.1. Gary comes in and mentions it.
And I see what the people are saying. So before. Yeah,
No, Gary, it's not happening.
So yeah, all right, because of the name, you thought we were American. Oh, very good, yeah. Yeah, because of California. But again, it's the whole VW California. But I think it's a bit overdone. And it's interesting how our channels have changed from product reviews to trying to figure it out, and now they've settled into this thing of. Now I know the videos I do can be artistic and that kind of stuff. But when we get out and about, they will be more kind of regular videos again. But I just think that we've probably found our style now, more or less. So I think.
Do we have a style, or is it your style?
It's not really about the van. It is about the van. The van is one of us.
Part of it.
Yeah, the van
part of it.
Okay, so what's this? So yeah, there's a lot of gobshites out there. That is true. That is true. Unfortunately,
there's a lot of people with opinions that don't know how to.
Hey, Mark.
as the saying goes, what you think of me is none of my business. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
People just feel that they need to tell you.
Gary thinks he's in trouble. Yeah, look, I think,
you're not in trouble, Gary.
and I'd say, see, the thing is, there's no smiley face with Gary's question, so he's genuinely asking a question, right? He's not trying to wind you up. So what I would say is, what we basically decided, I think, at this stage, is that we're going to stick to the T6. Actually, that's quite an interesting topic, because
We're going to stick with the Rainmaker.
we're going to stick with the T6 for loads and loads and loads of reasons, but it's too late in the video now to get started. So if you come on next week, Gary, you can ask us again. But we have
if Jason writes it down and remembers
we have outlined why we wouldn't. But the long and the short of it is that there's not that much difference between the T6 and the T6.1 that would make us go back out and get into debt when we only have about 6 months of payments left. So I think the long and the short of it is that when we get the van, it'll be nice things to have, but the bulk of the van, and it has 4 wheels, an engine, a couple of beds, a fridge, and all that kind of stuff, the bulk of it is the same. But what it did lead
still has the horrible drawer.
What it did, yes, it did, what it did lead me to do is watch a video about the T7. And so, Laura, I love seeing the country. Yeah, and you know what, Laura, it's killing me not being able to get out and about and video what we want to video. But I think it's given me a chance to practice with the new lens and bits and bobs and all. So there are kind of upswings. But I was looking at the video of the T7. Now, so they're driving around. So when they're testing the new T7, so you see the T7, right, doesn't just refer to the California. It means the new VW Caravelle and the VW Transporter, VW California. They all fall under the VW T7, right? So they're driving the new one around now, and what they do is they camouflage them, so they have all this mad funky stuff on the outside, right? So you can't see what it really, really looks like. But people have been rendering the images, and a bit like the iPhone, I'm sure what people are rendering is pretty good. It's pretty close, and it looks like it's a smaller van. It looks smaller, right? That's what people are saying, that they seem to be making the van slightly smaller.
You couldn't make it any smaller.
No, smaller on the outside side. Now I know that'll affect the inside, right? But it seems to be, this is where people are speculating that they're making the T7 smaller. And maybe the California is going to be some kind of spin-off or something like that. But also the front is different and everything like that. Now the mock-ups that I saw, again, I wasn't mad about, and I think the aesthetics of the van is important.
Yeah.
And again, as I said last week, I think the T6 looks like a very handsome van.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and I think when they start farting around with the front and bits and bobs and all that kind of stuff, I think on some level it's like gilding the lily. I think, you know, the way when you see these old vans and stuff like that, they just look great. I always remember somebody got a Corolla, a Toyota Corolla years ago, and they brought it out and it was hideous. And what they did was, it was that one years ago, it had the double lights at the front that looked like a guppy or something like that. It looked hideous. And they tried to tweak it and make it look a bit better, but it made it look even worse. But you would often see that sometimes they have vans and they bring them out and then they bring out an iteration of the same van, but they try and modify it. But sometimes it just looks...
It just doesn't do.
It just looks rubbish, yeah. It just looks... just
like the Micra. They brought out that bubbly looking thing and it was awful. The Micra itself was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then they brought out that bumper car looking thing.
Yeah, and you see
and
this.
And now their new Micra now is lovely.
Well, it's like, what did I have? I had the Skoda Superb.
Oh, the Corolla.
Well, I had the Skoda Superb, and it was lovely. When did I get that? I can't remember when I got that. 2011. Wasn't it 2011, 2012? So it was the Skoda Superb that they brought out. So it was the new version of the Skoda Superb, right? And it was lovely. But then they did that, say 5 years later, they tweaked it, and I didn't like it. It was more or less the same, but they played around the lights and bits and pieces like that, and it just didn't look the same. And I think this is the thing. This is the risk. What they can do with these 6.1s and all that kind of stuff, what they can do is they can tweak it, because what they do is they bring out a new version of the car every 5 years, but sometimes what they'll do is
they tweak in between.
They'll play around it just to kind of keep people interested, you know. Anyway, and the what did you say, the Mondeo?
Well, the Mondeo was one of them, but the Corolla, was it the Corolla? Did you mention the Corolla? Well, the Corolla itself was a nice car, and then they brought out this strange looking version of it about 3 years ago. It was terrible. Yeah, look, I don't know, but you know, it's horses for courses. It's kind of taste everything. So let's have a look. Great honest reply. That's what we're all about. Gary, I thought you were trying to wind me up. Sorry, I wasn't having a go with you.
That's what we're all about. Yeah, look, I think I'd be interested to see the T7 and stuff like that, but I just think See, the plan is instead of having the payments go, because to upgrade is going to cost us
A lot.
it's probably depending on what the value of that van is outside, right? So I mean that van's probably it could be only worth 50 grand, right? So you're talking 30 or 40,000 euro
No.
to get back into debt for what,
Not
you
worth
know,
it.
considering all the things you dislike about it. So I don't think we do that. Rather, what I'd rather do is take that money and use it to invest in, say, go on a trip to Norway and not have to worry about the diesel, not have to worry about the ferry, because I've said this before in other videos as well. How are we doing for time?
Quarter.
So how long do we have?
7 minutes.
So the thank you. So the thing I've said before is that, and this is the thing that people fall foul of. Staying in Ireland is brilliant, right? Driving around, all you have to worry about is, so there's your road tax, your insurance, but all you have to worry about is your diesel, your bit of wear and tear, and so on. But putting diesel into that thing is expensive. But the first time we went away and we had to get a ferry, so that's why in the UK they're blessed, because it's a much bigger country, right? It's 3 countries. So they have the 3 countries within, so Scotland, what I mean,
On the land,
on the mainland, as you call it, right? So that's a controversial topic over here, calling the UK the mainland and the Republic. Anyway, so this is the thing. You have Scotland, Wales, and everything, but then also you have the tunnel over. And I don't know how expensive it is to go on the train on the tunnel, but getting a ferry off Ireland is expensive. Like I think it is. Is it €1,000? I think
well, when we went to France, yeah. If we were to go to England now, it wouldn't be that expensive.
So it's €500 return to Scotland.
Yeah, but that's not €1,000.
No, but €500 return, and we're not staying in it overnight. And to go to France, return to France is about €1,200.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's super expensive. And you consider the cost of a flight on Ryanair, it costs you 20 pence, right? It's nothing to fly nowadays, right? But you're bringing your van. And then you get off, and then you say, right, we're going to drive for 1,000 kilometers. Okay, yeah. So you're going to burn through
hundreds of euros worth of fuel.
Well, like if you drive, say, it's a new full tank every 600 kilometers, and you're looking at the guts 90 to €100. So see, these are the hidden costs. So I think when we've paid for the van,
maybe we should change it to the money pit.
When we've the money maker, when we've paid for the van, we will have that additional income, which will take the pressure off then paying for ferries, paying for, so when we go away in the trip, because I remember the first time we did go away, I couldn't believe how expensive it was. I thought having the van would make holidays cheaper, but package holidays to somewhere in the sun on a beach, flying and getting there in a couple of hours and back and all that kind of stuff is the cheapest thing that you can do. Having a motorhome and all that kind of stuff and getting it off Ireland is super expensive, and then driving it around, and
especially when you're trying to cram it all into a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So like when you're trying to go, like way we done an awful lot of motorway driving and stuff like that. So when you're trying to do all that, because you want to see things in a couple of weeks and you want to get there fast and back fast.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, that was interesting, because that's another thing I was saying. Aaron was talking about wild camping. So people were asking Aaron about, have you wild camp and stuff like that as well. Now I'm definitely going down the road of more wild camping. So I know there are some risks, right? So we wouldn't park obviously somewhere silly, but there are risks to it. But I definitely think that I would definitely go down the road of wild camping. Because it's cheaper. So when we went to Downings, we parked in the harbour. And we left the van there and went up to the pub and came back and stayed there all night. Now the campsite was closed, I think, at that stage, was it?
It was, yeah.
But it still saved us €50. So and all we did is, so I think the thing is, if you go, and we've gone to Mallinhead, we've seen Mizenhead. So there's no one up there, so you can park in the car park all night. There's no fees. You get to stay there all night. There's no issues. Sometimes there's signs saying you're not supposed to park here, and you can chance your arm and take your chances. But I think the thing is that wild camping. So I think then, but obviously we still have to pay for a ferry. There's no getting away from burning fuel.
No.
So in my mind, I was thinking things like all I thought about was the payments, which by and far is the biggest expense. But then when you think that you're going to pay, say, €1,200 on a ferry, you're going to burn through €1,000 worth of fuel, and then when we got back from Italy, it wasn't that great because of the weather. Whereas if you think you'd have spent a couple of €100 and you've been there in 3 hours and back, it would that if you didn't like it, you could nearly get up from the hotel and go home, and you'd only have wasted a few €100. Whereas we'd have to get up and drive all the way across Italy and France.
To be fair,
Yeah,
to poor Italy, there was nothing wrong with the weather.
it was too hot.
You brought the wrong clothing.
It was too hot.
It was fine.
way too hot. It was way too
As
hot.
David said there, it's an alternative holiday, not a cheaper one. And apparently you said it before.
Okay, let's have a read of the comments. Let's just catch up. So, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is. Towing the car in the ferry to France was €1,300. Towing the car, the ferry. Wow. So €1,300 including towing the car. Yeah. So I think for us, I think it was 1,100. Was it, or 1,200? Shop at Tesco and save their loyalty card. Okay.
I don't get that.
I think shop at Tesco and save.
I don't think they do that in Ireland.
Oh, the loyalty card on the ferries, maybe. They might do.
Yeah, I don't think
They might do. They might do. I think that's a good suggestion. I think you were mentioned before, but it's an alternative holiday, not a cheaper one. That's very true. And if I did mention it, that's obviously sounds like something I would say, David, because it sounds very wise and not a bit boring. But the freedom is worth it. We did.
Northern Ireland.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
And no campsite.
Yeah.
We need to do the north a lot more, actually.
Yeah.
Not only Donegal. My
Yeah.
favourite place on the planet.
Yeah. Well, Northern Ireland. It's just, again, it's sort of like, I think for us,
Northern Ireland.
I think we have a tendency to. We have a tendency to go to the coast.
We do love
So
beach, don't
so the thing is, we'd be looking for a campsite on the coast and stuff like that as well. And not that I have anything against Northern Ireland. I think we just have a default to think of all the places in the south. And sure,
Yeah.
all the places Aaron has been to as well, we have to follow and go in and say, Aaron recommended a place, and see then if we can blag a discount. So I know how much you like your cinematography. How important is it when selecting where you go? Good question, Gary, and thank you for showing an interest in the photography. Do you mind if I answer Gary's question?
Thanks, Steve. You enjoy your weekend too.
So it doesn't. I do a little bit of you just ignored me, answered it. But anyway, I do a little bit of scouting. But what I try to do is I try not to find out too much about the place, Gary, because what I want to do is keep it fresh. So what I'll do is I'll go onto Google, and typically what happens is that either a video will trigger something, or I'll see something on the news, or someone will talk about something, or something will happen, or I'll see a photograph, and I'll check it out. And then what I'll do is on Google, I'll have a little bit of a look around the map to see. And then what I'll do then is maybe look at a few photographs and then leave it at that. And then that way then it leaves it fresh. But yes, generally, I suppose the thing is I wouldn't go somewhere where there was nothing to video. But, which is probably the reason, this sounds weird, why we go to the coast so much. Because when you're on the coast, you have the coast, the beach, cliffs, and then inland. Whereas I think when you're in the centre of the country, you tend not to have as much. Now that's crazy because you can have mountains, rivers, lakes, all that kind of stuff as well. But I think I feel drawn to the coast a lot for whatever reason.
I love the coast.
But generally speaking, I'd want to go somewhere beautiful. Okay, so you have to have all the weekend breaks. Yeah, that's true. The weekend breaks, yes, absolutely. And that's one of the main reasons we got the van, because we used to do a lot of breaks in the car and then we'd come home. We didn't really stay away, did we?
No.
I don't think we could afford it at the time.
No.
We were up to our tonsils in a mortgage and all that kind of stuff. So I think we couldn't. We used to go on day trips in the car, and obviously it was a company car, so we didn't have to worry about fuel and everything like that. And we'd go out and about and then come back. Yeah. Whereas the van is that nice thing. Just John, gonna have to go back to the beginning. Okay, okay, fair ball, Steve. So, do you want to start wrapping it up then?
Yeah.
Okay, well listen, thanks for the feedback. That was a long one. Thank you for the feedback, and we will change the name of the channel then to The Rainmaker, unless there's any objections, and we will take it from there. So, Bunran has free. All right, okay. Bunrana.
Yeah.
Bunrana has free.
Bunrana?
No, I think Bunrana, is it?
Bunrana?
Bunrana has. Bunrana. Is
Yeah.
it?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, we'll. Okay. Did Laura was Laura's eating in the van, was it? No, that wasn't Laura, was it? Who
No,
was in the
that
van?
was Leslie and Nigel.
Leslie and Nigel. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll leave it for there. So thank you very much for watching as usual. Buncrana. Okay. Okay. Yeah, typos. I know. Or spell check. It's an absolute nightmare. So be good and stay safe. Thank you very much, you will. So listen, thanks guys. We'll see you next week, presumably. Hopefully,
We don't see you through the week.
hopefully,
See you through the window.
hopefully we'll have a bit more freedom, and we'll start to get out and about. Okay, so we'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Okay, end stream. Do you want to end the stream? End.